Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new Dexter Resurrection Theory discussion. And this one is all about Mia, aka Lady Vengeance, as played by Kristen Ritter. And we're talking here about a really interesting theory, this idea of, was Ryan, the character who was taken out by Harrison early on this season,
Mhm.
was he actually someone who was going to be on her target list?
Yeah, because from what we've learned about this party is that the killers that are there are
Mhm.
kind of there to sing for their supper. We saw that with the tattoo collector where he was like, "Oh, this person's almost done their tattoo and during these 2 weeks you're going to see me, take care of this person."
Yeah.
Leon of course is like salivating, but with everyone else that's there, is that also the case that they have to kill somebody while they're there for those 2 weeks or just share stories? Was Mia there to take care of Ryan? Because we know that that is her MO. She
Yes.
is killing people that are men that are attacking women.
It's something that we have to think about a lot, especially in terms of, okay, if she was going to do this but didn't or can't do it now,
Right.
what does that mean for her? Is it going to cause problems with her and Prater? Is she going to have to find someone else? Or, of course, this eventually just dives into, okay, well, what if she does eventually learn that this was Harrison and this is someone that's tied to Dexter,
Yeah.
aka Red? Like, what sort of problems could that cause?
Yeah, because there's also what's going on between them, that potential romance.
Yeah.
She dipped into the shower, left the door open. He decided to leave, but he's really been struggling because he has been enjoying opening up, but he's not able to open up as himself.
Yeah.
Is she gonna find out that he is not who he says he is because he decides that he's going to open up about it? Or is she going to find out through either that Ryan is dead, that Harrison did it, that Harrison's connected to Dexter? She's going to find out all on her own.
As you can tell, there's just a lot of juicy stuff to get into here that could have long term ramifications, not just for this season, but
Mhm.
also for future possible seasons, depending on how long they decide to keep Mia around.
Yeah.
Before we get into anything more here, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we obviously love Dexter Resurrection so much. We love this entire greater Dexter verse. And here we are doing 3 videos a week. We are doing reviews, previews, theories, diving into all sorts of fun stuff. We want you guys to actively be a part of this discussion, and subscribing is the best way to make sure you do not miss out.
Yeah, we're also going to be covering here Twisted Metal. That's coming up very, very
Mm-hmm.
soon. And then we are also going to be covering Alien Earth. That's coming up next month. So hit that subscribe button. And if you want even more Dexter conversations with us, you can join our Patreon where we are talking about Dexter over there as well. I'll leave a link for you below. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys very, very much. And let's just start things off here with the big question of, okay, how would Mia know about Ryan? And here's the big thing I think we can say about all of this. I think it would be really reckless to say that his victim at the start of this series is the first time that he's done something like this. This is probably a guy who has done horrible things to women for a pretty long time and is actively involved in various party scenes. And that's why it's not that hard of a stretch at all to assume that Mia, who professionally is a sommelier and been around a lot of particular environments where people are drinking,
Mhm.
that she would know about somebody like this.
For sure. I mean, Claudette already kind of alluded to that this is not the first time that Ryan has done this, that it's sort of been kind of out there that maybe he's been doing this for quite a while now. So it probably is somebody that Mia would have heard about, because
Yeah.
that's the one thing we haven't learned about Mia yet is how is she finding these people? How is she able to, is she, stalking them? Is she seeing it online? Is it because she is kind of in that party world with, rich people that she's been able to see things at different parties, and that Ryan has crossed through that path multiple times, that she's like, I see what's happening. I've seen this going on a couple times, women that are stumbling out of parties with him. He's definitely on the list, and I'm going to be in New York. So is he. And I'm going to be at this party, and I have to have something for Leon.
It does actually kind of make me wonder if someone like Mia has little birds out there, to take a Game of Thrones reference, like people who are able to observe and report back to her because she's in a little bit of a different spot here than Dexter, who is able to use Miami Metro a lot as a cover, and they sort of oversaw a lot of that city. Whereas somebody like Mia, she can't just be somebody who is just like constantly taking out people who are coming to her where she is working, because then eventually the police are going to discover that's kind of a common thread for all of these guys. And then either people are going to stop coming to her for work, or she's just going to get found out. Like, it has to be more elaborate than this.
Absolutely.
So I think that's all kind of the foundation that we kind of have to think a little bit about here. But then we get into something you've talked a little bit about already, which
Mhm.
is just this idea of, okay, Mia's now in New York. Obviously, she's there in part because of Prater, because of meeting up with him and having this dinner. But we already saw that Lowell had a set target when he was in New York.
Right.
It's not that crazy to think that Mia came here with that idea as well.
Yeah, and if she's been, watching Ryan and figuring out what's going on with Ryan, knows that he's here, would
Yeah.
know where he's staying, and would probably then, of course, find out that he is now dead. And because it's seemingly that you have to dance for your dinner here with Leon, she obviously then would know if Ryan is somebody that she's been maybe watching for a while,
Mhm.
knows that he's doing this, has enough proof on it, would then know that he's just going to happen to be in New York at that same time. Perfect. That will be the person that I will take out. But if she's been watching him, then she's very likely going to know that he's either not at the hotel anymore, there's been cops there,
Mhm.
that he's been murdered, something has happened there. I think it's all going to come out with Dexter, Harrison, the murder, Ryan. Ryan has to be part of this.
It feels like it's just a really gloriously juicy way to throw all these characters into the same world together, because I think we have to question, okay, how is Mia gonna feel that Ryan is dead? Like, there might be a part of her that's like, okay, Lady Vengeance doesn't have to act in this instance, but at the same time, we've already seen there's such a thing as serial killer jealousy here, where Dexter's freaking out because someone
Yep.
is the dark passenger and not him. So there is this idea that maybe Mia's gonna be like, how dare someone else do my job? Like, I was here to do that job. That's gonna
Yep.
fulfill or maybe fuel all this resentment in her that could make her want to hunt down the people responsible, like, even more.
Yeah, and we've talked about this in our review that maybe there is something more sinister going on with Leon, because it does seem like if you break his rules or you don't perform, you get taken out by his people, right?
Yeah,
So if she doesn't have a person to kill or enough show and tell at this dinner that she's being paid for,
yeah.
she may not have anybody else to bring to the table at this point, and Leon may not give her a pass.
No, and this all kind of then goes into, okay, well, maybe we do need a little bit of show and tell now about Mia's process, because is she going to be able to pivot and then be like, okay, I'll just find someone else? Like, you can probably go to some nightclub or something like that and see, some men behaving badly,
Yep.
but like, to what extent do you need them to behave badly before you actually act? And sort of, we know how Dexter does some of this to get his own sort of proof, and because she is similar in some ways to him, it's like, okay, does she go about this the same way, or is she a little bit more reckless, emotional, impulsive? No two people are going to be the same.
Yeah, and it feels like eventually the tinfoil hat, this is a
Yeah,
theory video, that she is going to find out that Dexter is not who he is saying he is, that
yeah,
he's not Red. They are getting closer. He wants to be able to open up. This party was really revealing to him in that way of having colleagues, people that are doing the same thing as him, that actually have that understanding, and being able to say it out loud was very therapeutic for him. And right now he's getting to know her, and he's telling half truths where it's like, yeah, he's telling his story, but he's telling it as an imposter. He's now the imposter. He's pretending to be Red, right? How is she eventually going to find out? Because I think she is going to find out. Is it going to be because he breaks and he just has so much going on with Harrison and Ryan and all that, that he ends up just telling her the truth and then she finds out about Ryan? Or is it going to be something else that starts to come together where she finds out about Ryan, it leads to Harrison, it leads to Dexter, and she finds out?
that's how I think it's going to happen, where she's going to do some digging. She's going to find out that Harrison's potentially implicated in all of this. And we already know Dexter is keeping close tabs on Harrison. And, obviously the two have been reunited now. But even
Mhm.
after all this, because we don't know how this is going to go,
Right.
Dexter might still continue to watch Harrison to see what's going on. And if he starts to see Mia around Harrison, then he might be like, okay, I do have to step in here. And then I have to say that I'm Harrison's father. And then that's where everything gets complicated. And then that's where he has to basically say who he is. But then, even then, that raises another possibility that's really interesting with Mia, where she's just going to be like, okay, so you are actually the Bay Harbor Butcher. You're taking out killers. I'm a killer. What does this mean for me?
Yeah, that's the thing about it, right? Like how is she really going to react? I think is going to depend on the timing of it all. Like they've only known each other a
Yeah.
minute at this point. She kind of left the literal bathroom door open for a romance if he wanted to walk through it, and he decided not to at this point. If this all unravels really early, like, next episode kind of thing, then maybe she's not going to be as forgiving about it because they just haven't known each other that long.
Yeah.
And I know in general, they're not going to know each other that long, anyways. It's just a 2 week process that Leon has you out for. But when you're talking about something as dark and as grim as killers coming together where they have no outlet outside of this to meet with other killers and make these connections with other killers, 2 weeks can actually feel like quite a long time to dive in with somebody. So if she finds out in a couple of episodes that he's not who he says he is, his son is connected to this death of Ryan that she was going to have, and she's finding out deeper in, maybe after they hook up, because it feels like that's inevitably coming as well,
Yeah.
that maybe she'll be a little more forgiving. And as we saw with the tattoo collector, when he was just like, oh my God, you're the Bay Harbor Butcher. Like it's such a huge killer that she might let some of that go. She might be a little bit nervous about it
Yeah.
too.
I think we're entering this interesting spot here where they could either be really great friends or really interesting foes, because the friendship could come out of this idea that, okay, their MOs are fairly similar. And even if Mia finds out about it, she might be a little bit worried, but at the same time, she might think, okay, I'm similar enough to the Bay Harbor Butcher that he's not going to really look at me as a major threat. I'm just helping him. But then at the same time, that's where the concern comes in. It's like, I'm still doing something the Bay Harbor Butcher typically wants to go after. I would like to get rid of the Bay Harbor Butcher, but he doesn't fit my own code. Like, he's not somebody who I would typically kill. So can I then do this? And that's where, if Kristen Ritter is around for future seasons,
Mhm.
we kind of get into this dicey spot where it's like both of them know they probably need to take the other person out, but they don't know how to do it because they don't know how to morally justify it to themselves. Because even, we saw with Dexter and Hannah, Dexter didn't end up killing Hannah, even though Hannah has taken out other people. Like, things do get really messy when you start to toss around feelings.
Yeah, and maybe he's going to feel like he owes her. So let's say Ryan was one of her targets and
Yeah.
she can't bring to the table anymore for Leon, and she's in danger now because of what Harrison did. It could be a situation where if it comes out, okay, I'm actually Dexter, I'm actually the Bay Harbor Butcher, and this happened with my son, and I'm really sorry about it, I'm going to get you somebody. And that maybe he will come and help her out and just be like, I owe you, yeah, this happened, but if you don't say anything, I'll find you somebody. Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah, and I think this show is very capable of doing something like that, because I feel like what they did with the tattoo collector, which is still absolutely stunning, but they wanted us to feel like there's a sense of jeopardy around these killers. But I also feel like, and I mean, I certainly hope that now we're in this spot where they're going to take their time with the other three and actually allow us to see the relationships develop over time.
Mhm.
Like, maybe Dexter does help Lady Vengeance now and starts to have a friendship. And then maybe it does become like Prado in season 3, where you build this bond and then, maybe Mia gets out of control, like Prado got out of control, and then something happens there. I just hope that whether it is with the Gemini killer, with Rapunzel, that we eventually get kind of the level of depth and all the dynamics there that we already have with Dexter and Mia. Because it's only been one episode, but this has so much potential for us to just be rolling around in this mess.
Yeah, I feel like after losing the tattoo collector that we probably won't lose any more of them, probably, but I kind of feel like Mia is not going to be someone that we will lose, and she'll basically be like, see you at the next one, see, see you next year, see you at the next one kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna make a very nerdy superhero analogy here. This is sort of like Spider-Man and Black Cat, where it's like they're not typically on the same exact page, but there are occasions where Black Cat can be useful to Spider-Man. He just can't really trust her because she's gonna end up messing with them at some point.
Yeah.
It just feels like there is a kinship that is kind of here with Dexter and Mia, but there's a lot of potential for it to go really, really south. And then the question then becomes how much, if Dexter is attracted to Mia, finds her interesting, how much is he willing to bring her in actively to the rest of the world? Because he does have other people around him, including, Blessing's family,
Yep.
like all these people who are innocents. It's one thing for him to put himself around these people when he can control himself, but can he control Mia?
Yeah.
But that's kind of what we're thinking about here with Dexter and Mia at this point. But let's turn this over to you guys. Do you feel like Mia may have been after Ryan? If so, how do you think she's going to react to this idea that he's already just gone? Let us know in the comments. And of course, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more Dexter Resurrection coverage. And you
Mhm.
can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. We are covering exclusively there in video form Countdown.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We will see you here next time.